Been running inside my favorite video games on a $3,000 VR treadmill for about a month now. The Virtuix Omni One, the Ready Player One dream. I have tested it with 6 different headsets. I've lost weight. I built software for it, and it's been an experience. I have a lot to say. Let's get into it. For those of you who are new here, the Virtuix Omni One is a top of the line consumer VR treadmill. You put on special overshoes, step into a low friction dish, step into a harness, put on a VR headset, and then you can physically run, walk, and crouch inside your favorite VR game. No thumbstick for movements, just your legs. It's all you. I dropped the first impressions video about a month ago after my first week with it. Thank you guys for the support on that. It's really appreciated. The short version though, the hardware blew me away. The software definitely needed work, and I told you I needed more time before I can give you a real verdict. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it up top and in the description below. Well, I have had time, and the verdict is I'm actually more confident in this thing now than I was at week one. Now, it's not all sunshines and rainbows, and there's stuff Virtuix definitely needs to fix, and so I even had to fix myself. But in this video, I'm going deep on the gaming experience across a bunch of different titles, which has worked best for this thing, where the software and game compatibility actually stands right now, my real fitness results, and whether this thing is worth the money or not. Quick note though, Virtuix did send me this unit as part of a partnership. Affiliate link is in the description below, but everything here is my honest take. You know how we rock on this channel, guys. All right, let's get it. All right, so none of this actually matters if the games don't feel good. You can have the best hardware in the world, but if playing on it sucks, then it's just a $3,000 laundry rack. So let's talk about what it actually is like to game on this thing after a month. In my first impressions, I told you the Star Wars Contractors mod was my first Ready Player One moment with this treadmill, and it still was. But the question I was asked most by you guys is it worth the shmoney? Well, good news. It's definitely not a coat rack, and it's actually gotten better over the past month of use, and I love it. Half-Life 2 VR is one of the first titles I played with this thing, and I gotta be honest with you, I've never played Half-Life 2 before this. I know. Y'all gonna cook me in the comments, but my first time ever experiencing Half-Life 2 was physically walking and running through City 17 on the Omni One. And I genuinely don't think I can play that game any other way now because it's just so much fun. Running from Combine soldiers hits different. Heart pounding, legs moving, fully immersed in the game, and it honestly is the best way to experience a true classic like Half-Life 2 for the first time. Vertigo 2, which came out a few years ago, is another game that just hit different on this VR treadmill. And if you've been on the channel for a while, you know Vertigo 2 is one of my favorite VR games like ever. I'm talking top 5. That game already has wild level design, a lot of great combat, but physically running through the spaces in that game takes it to a whole nother level. If you haven't played Vertigo 2, please do yourself a favor. In terms of multiplayer experiences though, Contractors is still my go-to, even on the Omni One. You know, I've been playing it for years. Sprinting, flanking, ducking behind cover, everything literally just works and clicks on the Omni One. I just kept coming back to it over the past month. I still can't aim worth a damn though, but the movement is just peak. And this brings up one of the things that I feel like the Omni One does better than any other VR treadmill I have tried, and it is the accurate foot tracking. Like I rarely messed up, and even jumping, like you can jump on this VR treadmill. Now, while it isn't tracked in game, and I wish it was like other VR treadmills I've used before, you can still do it, and it's still pretty fun to do. So you're genuinely jumping for the workout, not so much for the gameplay. Now, I do hope that's something they add down the line, because I mean, if you have such impressive foot tracking, you gotta add jumping at some point. I also want to shout out EXD Extra Dimensional. So it's a new VR title that is really reminiscent of like a Half-Life Alyx and Boneworks, and plays great on the Omni One. I was sent a key about a few weeks ago. I wanted to try it out because, you know, new games have to be tried on VR treadmills if you're me. And I genuinely found an amazing experience. I never thought I would be, you know, an Amazon worker that got booted over to like an RPG world, but if you are a fan of Half-Life Alyx, anything of that ilk, then you have to try out EXD Extra Dimensional. And then there was ExoShock. So ExoShock is a game that's in early access. I mean, real early access, but oh my God, it has some of the most fun gunplay that I've experienced in VR in a minute. Now, this game does not work on the Omni One. There's zero native support. You actually cannot bind it to the Omni One, but I played it anyway. Sometimes just being a guy who loves VR treadmill, just running on the treadmill using the thumbstick for actual movement is kind of fun sometimes. Is that how it's supposed to work? No. Do I care? Hell no. Sometimes you want to run while mowing people down. I'm just a simple man. I also played GTA San Andreas VR on the Omni One. No, not the one or the version that Zuckerberg promised years ago.
I'm excited to announce that the Rockstar Games classic Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is in development for Quest 2.
There's actually a PCVR mod via UEVR that you can use, and running around Los Santos with your own legs is a 10 out of 10 experience. Like, I haven't played that game since I was a kid, and it literally is a childhood dream to physically run around Los Santos in VR as CJ. Shout out to the 800 people we had watching me stream that on TikTok, because beating up pedestrians and boomers was wild. It was a great stream. Oh, it's LSPD. No, fuck, I'm better on foot. Where am I gonna go? Oh, this way. Oh, okay. The common thread through all of these experiences is really the same thing. It's immersion. Walking and running through your favorite games with your own body. That is what Virtuix excels with this Omni One, and they deliver on it very well. Like, I have had so much fun playing VR that I haven't had in a long time, to be quite honest with you. Okay, with all that being said, I still gotta keep it 100. Not everything plays nice. 3 specific games I want to call out: ExoShock, which I already mentioned, has no native support. Skyrim VR with the Mad God overhaul. Movement mapping is broken. Some people got it to work, but it just didn't work for me and some other people that I saw on Discord. And Contractor Showdown just doesn't work at all with the Omni One. And usually what doesn't work means is that you step on a treadmill and your character just does nothing. You have to move with the analog stick. It's tough. So the compatibility situation is real. The way it works is the Omni One needs movement action set in a game Steam VR binding to map your legs to in-game movement. If a game doesn't have those bindings, the treadmill just has nothing at all to hook into. You also need to create a movement profile for each game, which is where Omni Tune, the app I created, saved me a lot of time. But for random new games or mods, it's very hit or miss whether the bindings are even there to work with to bind to the Omni One. The games that work great, but there are gaps, and if one of your must-play titles doesn't have the right bindings, then that's a bummer. But I will say that supported library is very solid and covers a lot of the main big games that people are going to use this for, but universal support isn't here yet, like with other VR treadmills people might be familiar with. I've also tested the Omni One with 6 different VR headsets. Yes, I know, I have a problem. My name is Mardu VR. I love collecting VR headsets. I get it. We're not going to talk about it. But the Pimax Crystal Super, the Samsung Galaxy XR, the Pico 4 Ultra, the Quest 3, the Bigscreen Beyond 2, and the Play4 Dream MR, and my favorite pairing by a lot is the Bigscreen Beyond 2. For treadmill use, weight is everything. You're physically running. You do not want a brick strapped to your face while you sprint because it sucks. Bigscreen Beyond 2 is tiny, it's light, and it doesn't turn your face into, a sweaty swamp. When you're sweating as much as you do on this thing, weight is very, very, very important. Also, the proxy driver fix I built for the lighthouse tracking issues still holds up even a month later. Absolutely no problems. If you're a lighthouse headset owner with a lots of, lighthouses, and if you're looking to pair it with your Omni One, then find me in my Discord and I will help you get set up if you run into the same issue that I ran into. Now, the Crystal Super is heavier. You feel that during longer sessions, but if you want raw visual power on the Omni One at a decent pace, nothing else I have tested comes close. The Samsung Galaxy XR is also pretty light and works pretty great. The Pico 4 Ultra / the Omni headset works seamlessly with Standalone, which is probably its biggest strength. Wasn't so good for me over wireless PCVR using business streaming app, but it is what it is. And even the old reliable Quest 3 works fine over Steam VR. They all work, but for a sweat machine like the Omni One, the Bigscreen Beyond 2 is my pick. So let's talk standalone, because this is a big part of the Omni One pitch. No PC required. The native Pico Omni games are actually really good. I wasn't expecting them to have such a crazy library on there, but it's actually a decent standalone library. And if you don't have a PC, I don't see you getting bored for a while. Like if you just don't feel like messing with Steam VR or PC at all, then the standalone library delivers way more than I thought it would. Now, the Omni headset slash the Pico 4 Ultra itself, I'll be real, I wasn't vibing with it at first. And guys, it's called the Omni headset because they literally rewired the headset to fit their ecosystem. It's actually really cool. But I grabbed some prescription lenses from VR Rock and it did change the experience for me. I actually like it now. Did have to get a Bobo VR, kit to fix it up and stuff like that because it is very small. If you're a Westerner with a big head, then you need to probably 3D print some stuff and get something to fit to make it more comfortable. It's a solid headset though, I will say that. My only gripe is that you can't download virtual desktop on it, which is a bummer. Because if you're like me and that's your go-to wireless PCVR, then it's kind of painful. For PCVR streaming on the Omni headset though, Virtuix does have their own business streaming app. Personally, I like it, but it just doesn't work too good for me and my setup for some reason. I'm spoiled with virtual desktop, and I usually just run a Quest or virtual desktop, or any of my other wireless headsets might just have like Steam Link or something like that. So that's kind of like my baseline. Now, I have heard from other people in the community say that the Omni headset PCVR streaming works great for them, so your mileage may vary. I just have a very weird network setup going on over here. One thing that did surprise me though is the depth of the streaming software. There's a lot of presets built in for PCVR streaming, way more than I expected. The options are actually there, but like I said before, it just didn't work for me personally. Now, pro tip, if you're doing PCVR with the Omni One, regardless of VR headset, get a Bluetooth adapter and keep it physically close to the treadmill sync sensor. It's the big green button that glows on the treadmill. The Omni One connects to your PC over Bluetooth, and if your adapter is across from plugged up into the back of your tower, you're gonna get a lot of random connection drops mid-session. And nothing kills the vibe faster than losing connection while you're spraying from zombies or other players in a video game. So I would definitely recommend sorting that out before your first session. Virtuix does have a Bluetooth adapter on their site with an extender. I would use that one, or you can get one on Amazon. I'll link the one I have below. Trust me on this one for sure. Software was my biggest complaint last time, so what changed? I'm gonna be real with you. Basically, Nathan. The motion profile situation is the same. PCVR users outside the Pico or Omni ecosystem are still editing text files to adjust movement settings 2026 manually. So yeah, Omni Tune, the app I built with Claude, is still on the move, open source on GitHub. Link is below. If you're doing PCVR on the Omni One, you don't want to live in a text editor, please go grab it. Your sanity will definitely thank you. You can also add games and tune them in headset with a GUI. I love the Omni One hardware, I really do, but Virtuix, please give us a real settings GUI for people outside of the Omni ecosystem. I will literally help. Yeah, I literally let you guys have my app. Just let people use it. Backtracking though, in my first impressions, I was all in on the comfort, and most of that still stands. The harness is legit, the tension system is smart, and the range of motion is amazing. But I do have to add a footnote after about a month. I want to be super clear, this is a me problem. I am a bigger dude, so take this with a grain of salt. Your experience might be totally different. But you guys know, I literally tell you everything about these products. The balls of my feet started hurting during longer sessions, and now you are running on metal, but even with cushioned shoes, that impact definitely stacks up. The Yeezys I was rocking in the first impressions video definitely were not enough for sessions over an hour. Now you guys know I stream for like an hour to 2 hours, sometimes 3. So with that being said, I had to upgrade to Hokas, like actual running shoes designed for people who actually run on actual things. What a concept. With the Hokas, I'm comfortable for about an hour plus, and this isn't even an ad for them. I don't have a connection with them at all. But man, there's some great shoes, and I highly recommend them if you're getting the Omni One and have issues with like feet pain and stuff like that. Please invest in some good shoes for this treadmill. Don't cheap out on your feet. Some of you guys also asked about noise, and noise is a decent question because yeah, it's a decent amount of noise. Now you are running on a metal dish with, these overshoes that have like a thin layer of, padding on them. And there's no getting around that. It's about what I expected based on other VR treadmills I've used in the past. But if you live in an apartment with thin walls, or you're planning on gaming at like 2 a.m., which is kind of funny, your neighbors are definitely gonna know about it. Just something to be aware of. No louder than a regular treadmill to me, and even quieter in some cases. Here, check this out. This is the sound it makes when you walk. Listen to that. As for build quality after about a month of use, this thing is a tank. Like, seriously. The base is holding up perfect. The arm mechanism still feels solid. Everything locks into place the way it did on day one. The overshoots are showing somewhere, but they're still fully functional, and I haven't had any problems with them. Nothing feels loose, nothing creaks, nothing has degraded. And for a product in this category, that is very impressive. It doesn't feel like it's gonna fall apart on you, or you have like some weird like oil or gunk on, the base, which is honestly something I cannot say about every other treadmill I have used in the past. The Omni One as a fitness tool is legit. When you're in the game, your brain doesn't rush to exercise, at least not to me. Like, I'll stream for hours and people are like, how do you do that? I'm like, dude, I was having fun the whole time. I mean, it's immersion. That's one of those words that always comes up in these type of videos. You just feel immersed. And then you take the headset off and you're like you stepped out of a shower, fully clothed. That's real. That's awesome. And honestly, just kind of, even with my weight fluctuating, 5 to 10 pounds in a month, it's pretty great. And for those who remember the VR Treadmill Challenge series, it's on the comeback. Now, I haven't been able to stream as much as I want, but I have been streaming more. Full weight loss journey all on camera. If you want to follow along, make sure you pull up to the streams. We're on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. And now that I've told you pretty much all my experience in the past month, the full package for the Virtuix Omni One is $34.95. Now the core without a headset is $25.95, or about $90 a month finance. The crazy thing also that I found out after doing my first video, that you can use your insurance to get a discount on this treadmill too. I think it's like up to 30%. So if you got some HSA or FSA sitting around, that might actually be very helpful with saving you some money. Now, either way, this treadmill is a lot of money. I'm not gonna convince you that it's not. I'm not some grifter that does stuff like that. This is a lot of dough you spend on a treadmill. But I will tell you to think of it like this. Now, with treadmills that are more expensive, you usually have what? A subscription. And I hate a treadmill with a subscription that is forced. Now personally, I think of VR treadmills as a way to save money on cardio equipment, because I've bought a treadmill before and I was just amazed by how much the subscription is on the side. Now, Virtuix does have a subscription for their standalone plan, which, gives you games, stuff like that, but it's mad cheap and it's not forced. But I am going to tell you that after a month, I'm 100% more confident in recommending this VR treadmill than I was after 1 week. The hardware holds up. The running experience is still the best I've had on a VR treadmill like ever. And I have been on a few. The harness system is just very comfortable, and being able to use it standalone with a Pico or across a bunch of different VR headsets gives it a flexibility that nothing else in the market really has. The software is still behind on the outside of the ecosystem PCVR side. Like, even with the motion profiles, needing a native GUI, the gaps in game compatibility, and just way more tinkering outside the Pico ecosystem than I would like. I will say this. Software gets updated, but hardware doesn't often. And the hardware here is genuinely excellent. And I'd rather have an incredible treadmill with software issues that's very fixable than a mediocre treadmill with a pretty app. Now, who should not buy this? If you're a casual VR user who hops in a Beat Saber maybe once a week, this is overkill for you. If you don't have the space, and this thing does take up a serious amount of space, definitely don't force it. If you need every single VR game to work perfectly out of the box with zero tinkering, then you're going to be frustrated because it just isn't there yet. And if price makes you genuinely uncomfortable, don't stretch yourself. It'll still be here when you're ready. But if you're serious about VR, gaming, fitness, or both, the Omni One delivers on all fronts. A month in and I'm still excited to step into it every time. That's not novelty, that's a good product. And there, Virtuix delivers on all fronts. All right, guys, that's the review. 1 month, the Omni One is the real deal, and I'm sticking with it for sure. Now, Omni Tune is on GitHub, link below. VR Treadmill Challenge is back. Affiliate links in the description if you want to grab one to support the channel. Come hang out on Discord if you have questions. The Minecraft VR server has been restarted. So if you like Minecraft, you like VR, and you like both, then come to the Discord and join the server. And even if you don't have VR, you can still play the servers without a headset. Let me know how you guys feel about the Virtuix Omni One. Shout out to Virtuix for the opportunity. And just remember, this is a dude with a VR headset. Peace.